Louis Dielman really did love his hometown of New Windsor. His life spanned 10 decades, from 1864 to 1959, from Civil War times to the age of jets and television. During many of these epic years, he gladly served as the town's unofficial historian. He'd be surprised at the many changes since he walked these streets, from the houses now lining Lambert Avenue and the slopes surrounding the town to the sleek look of today's schools and fire halls. And if he were alive today, he'd be anxious to tell visitors about lots of new things in our history, like the famous resident we had from 1966 to 1980. His name was Clifford Still, and he belonged to a group of artists known as the abstract expressionists. His colorful canvases could measure well over 100 square feet, and you can find them in art museums all over the world. Why, the U.S. Post Office issued a stamp in his honor in 2010. He called this fine house on Church Street home. Mr. Lew would also be proud of the amazing growth of the Brethren Center and the way its heifer project has become world-renowned. Why, he'd marvel at the fact that in 2001, the president himself, George W. Bush, visited our town to give a speech and pay homage to the center's work. Mr. Lew would probably remind us that the last president to come our way was Teddy Roosevelt when he was campaigning for president way back in 1912. And Mr. Lew would surely bust a vest button if he visited the New Windsor Museum. The Heritage Committee has proudly carried on his mission of keeping the legacy and exploits of the town alive for the residents of today and tomorrow. The charm of New Windsor is that here a rich history lurks around almost every corner. Walking its streets is like traveling through the corridors of time or gazing at a fly trapped in amber. That's because the streetscape is not much different than it was 100 years ago. Sure, the roads are now paved, we have stop signs at some of the corners, and we live daily with the hum of cars and trucks and honking horns. But at times, if you listen closely, especially in the still of the evening, you can almost hear the rumble of wagons or the clippity-clop of horses, or maybe even the babbling of those original sulfur springs that helped to start it all so many years ago.